Everybody's going to want to know, especially after watching Space Adventure Hour, how long have you been sitting on that homage to the iconic cadence of Shatner?
Yeah. Look, it's funny. A while because it takes forever for these episodes to air. But it's funny because when I first read the script, I actually wasn't going to do that at all. I was going to create a totally sort of just totally fictitious. I mean, the character's fictitious, Maxwell Saint. Uh, and then in the last minute, I sort of was like, oh, all right, let's create a combination of Maxwell Saint with his own mannerisms, his own characteristics, and his own absurdity. He's meant to be the whole thing's meant to be ridiculous and bad and kind of over the top in a really funny way. But let's infuse a little bit of that as a wink because I never got to do that. I never got to, I my version of James T. Kirk, Lieutenant Kirk, is the subdued version because I that's my interpretation of the character. When I rewatched season one of TOS, frankly, I thought James T. Kirk, the pop cultural stereotype of the sort of James T. Kirk was very over exaggerated, and I thought he was actually quite subdued. So my version or my interpretation of James T. Kirk is a very subdued one. That's and he evolves and he becomes a little more kind of quote unquote. He has a charisma, but he sort of becomes a little bit more mischievous and boyish as he becomes more comfortable with himself. But I didn't get to really do that because I'm playing an earlier version of Kirk. So I thought, well, this is a fun opportunity to do a little bit of that mixed with Maxwell Saint and just play up the ridiculousness, play up it's intentionally bad, right? It's intentionally ridiculous. That is the entire point of it, is to be as silly and over the top and fearless and kind of just really take the dial and turn it up to 110.
Well, it's a lot of fun as well. So, whatever
Thank
the
you. Thank
intention,
you.
it's great. Well,
Thank you.
speaking of which, you kind of mentioned some of the characteristics, but I'm curious when creating your version of Kirk, what did you and the writers consider to be kind of the non-negotiable characteristics of this character?
The non-negotiable characteristics. I think Kirk is a guy who's driven by instinct. Kirk is someone who will make a decision no matter what, and he will trust his gut. And he's also fearless in many ways. He can make mistakes, he can regret certain things, but he will jump out of the airplane and then figure out how he's going to land midair. That's kind of the kind of guy that he is. And then I think above all else, he values uh, Starfleet, the Enterprise, the Farragut. He values his crew above himself. That is, he is selfless in that regard, and that's non-negotiable.
In doing my research, I love finding out that you had three sisters growing up,
Hmm.
older and younger. I'm a man who grew up with an older and a younger sister, so I feel your
Mhm.
pain. Um, but what I love about Kirk is, in a lot of senses, he's almost defined by fraternity. We see that not only with his biological brother, but of course with Spock, and I'm hoping with your Kirk eventually with Bones as well. Um,
Yeah.
Curious, how do you see, especially considering what we see of Kirk in the second half of the season, won't spoil anything, but what do you see as the ability, or how does Spock and his brother, how are they able to change Kirk a little bit, or at least change his point of view?
It's pretty well known, at least in my eyes, that Kirk and Spock are very much sort of yin and yang. They go together to create the perfect circle. And the qualities that Spock has, the logic, these are some of the things that sometimes Kirk perhaps lacks. Which is he uses pure human instinct. And the human instinct of Kirk is some of the qualities that Spock sort of lacks. And I always find, even in my own personal life, that the best friendships are the ones that can complement each other, perhaps in ways in which we initially don't expect.
That's
And with Sam, I think the two of them have a kind of friendly, there's a competitiveness there But it's above all, there's a deep love. You know, Kirk and Sam don't have the closest relationship to their father, and I think they rely on one another. I think they are really each other's true family, and they only have each other ultimately.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck with the second half of this season.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Hey, Real students, thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe to Real School, click that round Real School logo right beside me. Also, click that damn notification bell so you're aware of all of Real School's new content. You can follow me on Twitter, and of course, if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link in the description below or the button down there, and you can become part of my Patreon team.